Hey guys, Rob DePiro here from Exit Realty Specialists, and I'm really excited because I'm just about to record my virtual buyers presentation. A lot of really great information in here. Some of it is going to be basic, but don't underestimate its value. We're going to cover things like costs and how much it costs to buy a house, what the process is, what realtors do to help, and what I do to help. So we'll just get started right into it here. I hope that you like it. You skipped ahead there. Okay, so why would you use a realtor, right? Why wouldn't I just go directly to a seller and buy privately? Oftentimes, buyers think that if they go directly and get a sale directly from a seller, that they're going to pay less money. But we know that that's not true. Oftentimes sellers have overpriced their homes. They don't understand the legality behind things. And just because you're saving commission doesn't mean that you're getting the best price or terms for the home that you're going to buy. So us as realtors, our job is to help you navigate through the buying process with the least amount of risk possible and the most amount of upside possible. So we're there to, not only just open the door for you and show you your home, we're there to, show you the risks with certain homes because every home has a risk, and also just get you that best price for your home. Exit really is a different company. And one of the things that I've loved most about it is just all the training. So here at Exit, we believe in building strong, viable, successful real estate agents, okay? Other companies focus on the number. We know that if we focus on the agent and get a quality agent, that the company and the organization will grow collectively and organically from within itself. Now, we really do that in 5 ways, and this is why it's important to know the agent and the agent that's representing you and what they have behind them. We do it in 5 ways here. So we do it in training. All of our agents are trained. Good agents are born, average agents are born, great and exceptional agents are trained. We teach them how to brand themselves, which is the second thing, is branding. So we teach our agents to brand themselves in the marketplace so that they're recognized. So, exit is one of those most marketed words in the whole world. And the next time you see an exit sign, just try not to think about me. It's lit up by law over every single commercial doorway in the world. It's on the side of highways. St. John next exit, McDonald's next exit. It's just everywhere. So we teach them to brand themselves. We teach them technology. Technology is absolutely wonderful. We believe that technology should be high tech and high touch. Now, a good example of technology is this video right here. Video is one of the best ways to communicate with people, and without technology, you wouldn't even be watching this right now. So we know that video is a really great way to connect with people and also to educate people. The fourth thing that we do with our agents is we just have a culture here, and it really is a great culture. So, when you hire an exit agent as your buyer's agent, you really have the whole company behind you. So we have, dozens and dozens of agents here, and the whole company works for you. Okay, so we have a company where we all help each other. You've heard that, real estate can be very dog eat dog, and certainly it's very competitive. But when you hire an exit agent, you hire the whole brokerage. Last thing we do is we teach our agents financial security so that they can become entrepreneurs and fill in the gaps between closings so that they're not always looking for that next deal. So, there's there's a lot of stigma out there that a real estate agent is just a notch above a used car salesman. But here at our brokerage, we teach our agents financial security so that they can go out there, represent their clients, and they're not always looking for the next sale, right? I know that's a main concern for people, is that they're just trying to sell me something. So that's what we do at our company. We are a company with a heart that cares about the agents so that the agents can go out and take care of the client, which I guess in this case is you. Let's find a home. Where do you find a home? One of the most important things I think in finding a home is having the very first conversation. And we may or may not have had that conversation yet, but usually I ask a lot of questions. The reason that we ask a lot of questions is to determine what a buyer is usually looking for. Oftentimes, a buyer has in their mind what they are actually looking for, or what they think they're looking for. And, we know that oftentimes in real estate, they end up buying something completely different. So my goal is to just ask a lot of questions, do a needs assessment, find out what people actually need, what they're actually looking for, and, sincerely helping you and helping people. A lot of that just comes down to, asking filtering questions. And I find that most buyers search for homes in this way. So if, you have all of the homes out there available in the market, most buyers will search by area first, then they'll search by price range, and then they'll search by specific type of home. So of all the homes out there, my job is to help you find the one that meets your needs, or the ones that you fall in love with, the ones that meet your lifestyle. Where, and how to find homes. This is a really, really great question. Most people think that there's only one way or one place to find a home, but I actually believe that there's three. Okay, so MLS, the multiple listing services, is by far and away the best place to find a home. Now, MLS, you may know that that's a multiple listing service, is a pool where all of the homes are from all of the realtors. So in our board, we have approximately 230, 240 realtors, and the multiple listing service gives all realtors access to all other realtors' homes. So you don't have to connect with the listing agent. A buyer's agent can take you through another listing agent's home. Oftentimes, realtors allow their properties to be advertised on just a whole host of other websites. So automatically they'd be put in they would come from realtor.ca and put into these other websites. Now, these other websites might be Kijiji, Point Two Homes. They may be on Facebook or any other social sites. They may be on banking websites. They may be on, real estate websites. So it could be a brokerage website like Exit or another brand's website, or might be on a specific person's website or a specific real estate agent's website. That is by far and away the best way to find homes. But it's just really important to know that if you're finding that home, or you're looking at that home and you see that it's on Agent A's website, it's probably on realtor.ca as well. And a buyer's agent can take you through that home. Second way to find homes is for sale by owner. So there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to for sale by owner. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that they do not want to deal with a realtor. And for most part, that is true. They don't want to deal with a listing realtor, but they're very, very happy for a buying realtor to bring their buyers through. I always suggest in this case of letting the buying realtor, somebody like myself, connecting with the for sale by owner first so that they can negotiate terms before you even go in the home. Like I had mentioned, most of the time these people, they have overpriced their home. They don't understand the process. They don't understand what to disclose and what not to disclose. Really it's, not a good, we know that, most of the times these transactions don't come into fruition. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I know of somebody who bought privately, and yes, it definitely does happen. I would just say, did it happen on the best terms for you, the buyer? Did it happen at the best price for you, the buyer? And how do you know that? That's my job, is to teach you how to know that. That's the second way, is to search for sale by owner. And I always encourage people, if they see for sale by owner, to go ahead and do that. And I'm happy to represent you in a for sale by owner. Third way is what I call the shadow market. And that's where, myself or my team or my brokerage may have homes that are not currently listed on the market, and they are not currently listed for sale by owner. These people may be thinking of listing their home, or they may be waiting for the right fit for people to list their home. We can go out there. We're constantly prospecting for new listings. We're constantly looking for new sellers to sell their home. Some of it comes down to right situation. So one of those three ways may be the way that you find your home. The most common one is through realtor.ca or through MLS. A lot of information there. Open houses are a great way to go and start doing your research on a home. Oftentimes, buyers feel a little weird or a little awkward about going into an open house because they think that selling agent or that person who is doing the open house is just going to try to sell them the home. What I suggest to all my buyers, if you're going into an open house, just tell them that you're working with me. If you have my card, you can just give them my card and tell them that I'm going to represent you. I'm going to know all the questions to ask them if you're interested in the house anyways. I'm going to find out everything anyways. But just by telling them that you're working with me or giving them my card, they'll just leave you alone, and oftentimes they'll just connect with me, follow up with me. They'll try and sell the house to me, but will give me the information so that I can get that to you. Open houses are a great way to do your research on home. We know statistically less than 1% of homes sell off of an open house. So go in there, talk to the agents. Don't feel don't feel bad about talking to the agents. But we'll cover agency here in a minute on what you can actually say to people and what you can what to stay away from saying to people. Community information. This is really one of my favorite things. You may be an out-of-town buyer. You may be buying in St. John or the area for the first time, and you may want to know about neighborhoods. We have all of that data. I'm very familiar. I've been a resident here in St. John since 2009. I've explored all the areas. I've showed all the homes. I've looked at all the areas. But one of the most important things to me, and one of the most important things that I find buyers are very interested in, is the lifestyle and the neighborhoods and the communities of these areas. So always happy to tell anybody anything that I know about the communities. Oftentimes that's the first thing that we talk about when we go through the house. How much can you afford? Okay, this is a really important question. Especially in a market like we're in right now. So if you're in a seller's market, it's very important to know how much you afford. Oftentimes, or sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to get pre-approved, or I think I can afford this. There have been very substantial and a lot of changes to the mortgage rules here in Canada. One of the reasons being is they're trying to bring down what people can afford in case there's ever interest rates go up. They're trying to avoid a collapse in the economy. So there have been many rule changes to mortgage laws, and so just knowing what you can afford is very important. I have a referral group of mortgages and mortgage lenders that I'm always happy to make available to you. I don't get anything from mortgage lenders or mortgage brokers. They just know that they need to take care of my clients. I find oftentimes with mortgage lenders, it's all about fit and going out there and finding not only the best rate, but the best service as well, because service is very important in something like real estate, which is just demanded so much by time and deadlines. Finding out what you can afford for a home is the very first step and maybe the most important step. In this market as well, and we're in a seller's market, oftentimes buyers agents are presenting pre-approval letters with their offers. So if you want to be competitive in a market like that, in a seller's market, showing a seller that you are pre-approved and having that lender's logo at the top of that piece of paper could be the difference between getting the home and not getting the home. Do you know how to find out what a house is actually worth? Do you know how to? It's a really interesting question because people have a whole bunch of different answers to it. Oftentimes, and the biggest mistake that I see people make is that they think a home should be a price because they feel that it should be worth that price. But we know that the way that you price a home is based off of comparable homes that have sold just like that home. So what I always do with my buyers, or I suggest with buyers, is that we look at homes that are just like that to get an idea of what a home just like that has sold for. As a real estate agent, I have all of that data. We have comparable homes and just making those informed decisions on what a 3-bedroom bungalow with a double-car garage in a certain area sells for is very important. very, very easy to just send that information out, as long as, sometimes in very remote areas it's hard to find comparables, but if you're buying in an urban area especially, very, very easy to find. It's important to also acknowledge that as our market continues to rise and as prices continue to go up, to add inflation on that. We have lots of tools to add that on there. Sometimes as a buyer, it just comes down to being the best offer and just making that informed decision. But my job is to help you make informed decisions. Communication. Listen, if we're going to be working together, then it's really, really important that communication is established early on, and the best ways of communication is established early on. Every client is different, but what I always suggest is just having some form of text and phone calls. Now, voice-to-voice calls, calls or videos are easily the best way. Because with text there's a lot of there's a lot that can be lost in translation with just a text message. So oftentimes with clients, they'll send me a text and they'll call them. I know it's 2021 or 2022, whatever year we're watching this in, and people don't call each other anymore, but there's a lot just that can be lost in communication. So I always find that face-to-face or phone call is absolutely the best way to communicate. I think a big part of communication is setting expectations and setting boundaries right away. So, it's a very competitive environment. I always tell my clients, I will always get back to you. If I do not answer the phone right away or answer a text message or a Facebook message right away, I'm just with another client or I'm doing something super, super cool. Like, I don't know what to do. But setting those expectations right away on what each other needs is a very, very important part of communication. And then just having, the method and the strategy on communication on what the timing is. Are we going to talk once a week? Are we going to talk all of the time? Is very, very important to discuss as well. Here in my hand, I have a legal document that has been approved by the New Brunswick Real Estate Association. It is called Working with a Realtor. The reason that I bring this up is because when you hire a real estate agent, you are hiring a trusted advisor. And this is what this document says, and I'm going to paraphrase it. When you buy or sell real estate in New Brunswick with a real estate agent, you are represented by the company, not the individual, okay? As the company's client, the company owes you certain things. And here's what it says right here. It says that they owe you the duties of utmost care, competence, confidentiality, accountability, loyalty, obedience, integrity, and I think I already said it, confidentiality, but I'll say it again. So much like a lawyer, if you've ever watched Law and Order or Suits or any of those shows, anything that you say to your lawyer is going to stay and die with your lawyer unless you've instructed them to say it to another person. So as an individual and as a brokerage, we never disclose 3 things about our clients. And these are the 3 things that we never disclose, or we're not supposed to disclose. The first one is the motivation of the client. So we never disclose why the client is moving. We never disclose what the client is willing to give in price or terms. That's the second thing. So we will never disclose, what your closing date is or how much you're willing to offer unless it is in writing, which is an offer. Any of those terms, if you're going to do an inspection, what you're asking for, you ask for the fridge and so none of that is disclosed unless it is in writing on an offer. The third thing we never disclose is any of your personal details. So when I show a home, I never tell the other agent I'm taking John Smith and Susie Buyer out to go see the home so that they can look them up on Facebook and find out everything they want to know about. None of those personal details we would never disclose. If somebody's going through divorce, if there's been a death, if they're going to be homeless, if they don't get a home, any of those things, any of those motivation, unless it is in writing from the buyer that we are allowed to disclose it. That being said, there are 3 types of representation that can happen in New Brunswick, and here's what they are. There's seller's representation, there's buyer's representation, and then there's dual representation. I just want to go through them quick. Seller's representation means that the seller is in contract with the company. That means that the company's brand has a sign on the lawn. So it may be Exit, or it may be another brand. Those that agent in that brand or that company owes all of those things to that client, and it should never disclose those things about the seller. Now, you can imagine sometimes people do disclose their seller's motivation for moving. They may disclose what their seller is willing to accept, and they may disclose their personal details. If we are in buyer's agency, then my job is to disclose all of those things to you. Now, I just want to say sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't happen, sometimes it happens by accident, sometimes it happens by the questions that I may ask the other person. Oftentimes you hear the story about why the seller is moving, and it's important to know in a timeline that usually comes out through the process, usually not at the beginning or after closing. You may hear why a seller was moving. Second type of representation is what's called buyer's representation. Now, buyer's representation is like we just talked about. In this case, Exit would be representing you as a buyer. So when we go to these other brands and these other agents' listings, we owe you all of those things: the duties of utmost care, competence, accountability, loyalty, integrity, and confidentiality. And we never disclose any of those three things about our clients. And that is something I take very, very seriously. I never disclose my clients' motivation, what they're willing to give in price or terms, or any of their personal details. The third type of representation is what's called dual representation, and that's when the company represents both the buyer and the seller. So it may be the company or maybe the same individual. So you may come to one of my listings, or you may come to another Exit listing. If that were to happen and both parties would be interested in doing a deal, the company would need permission from the seller to facilitate the deal. And what we put in writing is, the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, or if they're the same agent, is never going to disclose those three things once again to either side. We just facilitate the deal. We give everybody the information, and we give everybody the best strategy to win, their side of the coin. Deals do not get done if they're not good for both sides. Deals do not get done if they're not good for both sides. And that is our job to help you with that. Just going on deals again. A lot of people think negotiating is just being the biggest, baddest, loudest person in the room and bullying people. I will tell you for a fact, if you are looking for a pit bull realtor or a bully realtor, that bully or pit bull realtor, they don't bully the other agents. The only person that they bully is the client. They are only bullying the client. Negotiation is an art, and I often say that negotiation is the art of letting the other side have our way. So letting them come to the conclusion that our way is the best for them. Words are very, very important. Presentation is very, very important. This is something that I've studied now for many, many years. I've negotiated thousands and thousands of times and completed hundreds of transactions. I always say to people, I'm very, very intuitive. I really, really enjoy negotiating, but negotiation is certainly letting the other side have your way, or the art of thinking that they're having their way. Deals do not get done if it's not good for both sides. My job as a buyer's agent is to help you get the best deal and make informed decisions. Yeah, I mean, we are a company with a heart. I think that it's really, really important that we say that to everybody. Our corporation does give back with every single transaction. Anytime that there is a transaction, they do give back. So if there is a nonprofit that you are interested in, or a foundation that you're interested in, please let me know, and always happy to donate to that in your name or an Exit's name or my name, whatever that is. Wonderful, wonderful service, just making the world a better place. Once again, though, I told you have the whole brokerage behind you, but not only do you have the whole brokerage behind you, you have the whole organization behind you. So we are an international company that is focused on training, branding, technology, culture, financial freedom, and there's always another level or another person to ask a question. So, not only do you get a strong, smart, skilled, empathetic realtor, but you're getting the whole power of that organization behind you. Super, super cool, at least in my opinion. This is one of the best slides on here, and I really, really want you to pay attention to this, because this is about a timeline. So many questions or many people ask me about the timeline or have a question about the timeline in a transaction. So they may say, well, Rob, do I do the inspection first, or do I make the offer first, or when do I get pre-approved? When do I get my letter? When does the money come? And all those things. So this is a really, really great slide on showing those things. I'll just walk you through here from the left to right. I'll bring up my mouse here so we can see it here. The very first step is to hire a real estate agent, have a really, really good conversation with them. Find out if you vibe with them. Find out if they're the right fit for you. Second thing that you should do if you are not a cash buyer is obtain a pre-approval mortgage. Now, there's a difference between being pre-approved and being pre-qualified, okay? Pre-approved means that they have run a credit report on you. Oftentimes people confuse the pre-approval with being pre-qualified, which is just having a conversation with a bank or a lender where they just say, oh yeah, you should be able to afford $1 million. If they are not running your credit report, you are not pre-approved. And it is very, very important. Certainly at this point in my career, I've seen a lot of disappointed buyers because they've been given bad, information from lenders, and it's just really, really important to have those right conversations. I'm always happy to help have those conversations, give the referrals to people who provide good service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But step number 2 is to go and get pre-approved. Step 3, you could argue this could be step 1 or 2 or 3. They're all really interchangeable, if I'm being honest, is to just, complete that needs assessment, that questionnaire to find out what the perfect home is. Once you have all of that ready, you're ready to go and see homes. And go shopping. Shopping is absolutely the funnest part. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see buyers make is that they qualify and they disqualify homes by themselves without ever going in them. But you know that all the homes look different than they do in the pictures, right? They all look different. One of the most common things that I hear is that, well, geez, Rob, this house looks so different than it does in the pictures. And oftentimes people take that just in the negative way, that, it may not look as good. But just remember that sometimes it looks better in person, right? Sometimes it looks better in person. Realtors are, individual contractors. They work for themselves. Some of them are fantastic at taking pictures and video and getting a house ready. And you really just don't know what it looks like until it gets there. And it seems smaller when you get there. And they use a wide angle lens and the rooms all look smaller. But sometimes they're really bad at taking pictures. They're really bad at doing write-ups. They're really bad. There's low light in all the pictures and they're grainy. And sometimes you see they're not even rotated right. Like they're rotated sideways. Just don't discredit those homes just because the pictures are looking bad. Getting in homes is the best way to do research on homes. Now, once you've found a home that you're interested in, you're going to create an offer and you're going to write a 6-page document with your realtor to make sure that everything is taken care of on it. Now, those are going to go over certain things like a price, when the property is going to close, and what terms are going to be included in that. So whether or not you're going to do an inspection, are you going to get insurance? Are you going to get a mortgage? Is there going to be a water test on there? You're going to talk about what's going to stay with the house. Are the fridge, stove, washer, dryer going to stay with the house? Does the pool stay with the house? Does the pool go? All of that is on the offer, and my job is to walk you through that document so that it's clear and concise what is staying, what is going, what the price and the terms are. You create that offer, and then that offer is submitted to the seller's agent. Oftentimes I have a conversation with the seller's agent where I, would ask my leading questions to find out what's going on, but just also help massage that conversation, right? So that's not so cool. In this market, we do see, and it really depends, because often people say, well, what should I offer? It depends on whether or not you're in multiple offers, and I always just suggest that the right property at the right time, the right conversation needs to be had. So, offers are different based off of whether or not you are in a multiple offer situation. If you are in a multiple offer situation and you are not offering more than list price, generally I would say there's really no point in offering it. I just want to make sure I say that. So sometimes people say, well, okay, I'll offer list price. probably not going to get it. I'd say like definitively you're not going to get it. Even offering just a little bit more will increase your chances. But all those conversations are had per property, per timing, per agent, per client. If there is a negotiation that needs to happen or a counteroffer that needs to happen, that is the next step. And, we may go back and forth as little as one time or maybe a couple times. At that point, you will have an answer on whether or not your offer has been accepted or rejected. You really have two scenarios. It's not going to come together or it is going to come together. If it comes together and as a buyer you have an accepted offer, congratulations, it's time to celebrate. But it does not mean that you have bought the house. Oftentimes we have those terms that are in there and it is time to complete those terms. So, we would conduct the property inspection, we would submit paperwork for financing, we may get insurance, we may test the pool out, we're going to test the appliances out, all of those things. So that is all done after the offer is accepted. Most times in a transaction or in an agreement, we're going to write clauses in there that if the buyer, the buyer, is not satisfied with the results of the inspection or the insurance or testing the surfboard out in the pool, then the buyer may declare this agreement null and void. So this is a buyer-driven document written for a buyer, for the buyer's safety. You would conduct all of those things, and then the next thing you would do is you would either fulfill those conditions or those clauses, or you would waive them. Once you've fulfilled them, congratulations, now it's time to celebrate again. You have a firm offer. Firm offer means that the house is going to come off the market and, the seller is going to get prepared to close. Average closing date may be, 60 to 90 days in this market, maybe sooner. Once again, it always depends on the property, depends on all the variables. But there will be a time between the conditions being met and the property closing. Before closing, you will go and sign all the papers with the bank, and the bank will give you the money. Now, the bank does not give you the money once the conditions have been fulfilled. Then the bank doesn't give you the money way over here. The bank waits until the very last moment, right before the transaction is going to close, and they give you the money right before, which is really, really important to know. Up until that moment, they can take back the money at their disclosure anytime that they want. So really important not to go buy, a new car, max out your credit card in between there. Don't get fired from your job. Those few things that could happen. After that, the property closes. So on key day, usually we close in the morning. You get your keys. Everybody gets to celebrate. You get to take your pictures. You get to have your family over, and it's a great day. And then the next step is that you just move in your stuff. Pretty cool. Let's just stick on the mortgage process here. It's super, super important to know how the mortgage process goes. So once again, you're going to fill out your application, right? So you have an accepted offer. You've come to terms with the seller on how the offer is going to go. And now your bank is going to take that offer and they're going to submit an application, a real application to the lender. Okay, so just because you're pre-approved does not mean that they are going to lend you that money. They will lend you that money after they've seen the property. They're going to want to do, sometimes appraisals, a few different things there. But they're going to take that application and they're going to submit it to the lender to see if they're going to lend you the money. It's really, really important in this process to know that oftentimes when they're submitting it for approval, a lot of banks, or most banks, all banks in Canada, they are going to look to see if they can get a mortgage an insurer to insure that mortgage. Here in Canada, we have 3 mortgage insurers, and the bank, your financial institution, whoever it is, the lender, will ask that insurer if they will insure the mortgage. They're looking to see if, John Smith or Susie Buyer defaults on this home, will the bank get insurance money, and will the insurer pay them that mortgage so the bank doesn't lose any money, right? The bank does not want to lose any money. So oftentimes your mortgage really comes down to whether or not that insurer is going to insure the mortgage for the bank. So they may want to do an appraisal. They may want to run a credit report on you. They may have conditions on your mortgage that you're going to pay a certain thing off, or you're going to provide a letter from your employer or something like that. But it's submitted for approval. Then once it is approved, they do a title search, and they're going to look on that on that property to make sure that the seller actually owns that property. The seller is able to transfer that property over. Once again, like I said, they may do an appraisal, but they want to make sure that that property is safe and a safe investment for the bank and a safe investment for you. So they're going to do their research on that. The bank is going to do the research on that. After that, once again, after all of that happens, the funds are dispersed. Very interesting process. Once again, you don't have to remember all this. My job is to help walk you through this. Closing costs, really, really important to know. You have to pay for things. Real estate is for people with money, and real estate is for people who are able to take risks. Just go back to the pre-approval here. In order to get a mortgage in Canada, you do need 5%. You need a 5% down payment minimum to get a mortgage in Canada. The other thing that those banks are going to look for is, do you have enough money to close? So generally we tell people this will be 2 to 5% of the purchase price. So an additional 2 to 5%. So, when you're looking at houses there, you're really looking for to have your own money. You need at least, somewhere between 7 and 10% of that money to be your own money. So if you're looking at $100,000 house, you're looking for somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000 of your own money to get that mortgage. If you're looking at a $200,000 house, you're looking somewhere between $14,000 and $20,000 in order to buy the house. When we cover closing costs, I really believe that this is something that you should go through not only with your realtor, but also with whoever is giving you financial guidance or the mortgage counseling. But once again, you're looking for your down payment here. You're looking for any prepaid utilities. So here in New Brunswick and here in our area, these could be municipal costs. So if you are buying a property that is on municipal water and sewage, those costs will need to be taken care of at close. They are prorated to the day, and sometimes it depends on whether or not the current seller has already paid for them or not. This may seem like a lot, but it's really not. Very normal. Prepaid taxes. Once again, taxes are prorated to the closing date. So if you close on December 1st, you will owe the taxes from December 1st to December 31st, right? And that's all taken care of with your lawyer, with your mortgage lender. So that's important to have those conversations. If there's any other adjustments, legal fees, generally I'd say in order to buy a house here, you're looking just for the legal fees, somewhere between $500 and $700, maybe more, maybe less, depending on the variabilities, but just to give you like an idea there. And that is just to use the lawyer, right? That is for the lawyer's services, the paralegal's services. In New Brunswick, we do have land transfer taxes. So the government wants their money too. Government always gets their money. The buyer pays the government their money, and this is about 1.5% of either the purchase price of the home or the assessed value, depending on what is higher. All of this is paid, I should mention, on closing date to the lawyer. So when you get that lawyer bill, it's not going to be $500 or $700. It's going to be whatever, the 2 or 5% closing costs that we discussed that were in there. Yeah, that's it. Things to consider when you're moving, just we have a list here, and when you get the presentation yourself, you'll be able to see it. But things to consider, if you're going to have cable, satellite, whether or not you're going to have a home phone or a cell phone. Internet is very, very important to people these days, especially with working from home. So making sure that you can get high-speed internet. With water, are you going to pay municipal water? Are you municipal water? Are you on your own well? Some people think that it's better to be in a well, but just remember, if you're in a well-based community, and we have many of them here as well, that looking after your well and having that that system taking care of itself is very, very important as well. So you're going to have to, consider that, and that's what we help you with. Your heating and your cooling costs, your electric costs, whether or not you're going to have a home security system, or we just talked here about water, like the water filtering or the conditioning system. If you're going to have a newspaper or magazine or any of those banking needs, those are really, really important when you're moving. If you will need storage or if you will not need storage at the house, or maybe additional storage. If you have a pool, are you going to have it serviced? Who's going to take care of the yard and the lawn, because now you're a homeowner, or maybe you still a homeowner. But all of those are to be considered, right? Pest control, and then of course just making sure that your mail is changed over. So my job is to help you with all of that. Just some moving tips, and this is more towards the end of the journey, but just being prepared for moving. So we do have a free moving truck that we let all of our clients use. We provide the truck, the driver, and the gas, and then we ask that our clients move their own stuff. So you may hire people to move your own stuff and use our truck. We give you one trip, or you may just choose to not use the truck. You may hire somebody to move your stuff for you. Making arrangements for your pets and your plants and your vehicles on the day of closing. Then we just make sure that we collect all the keys. You do not get the key to your house until closing date, until the house is closed. Just preparing for that and leaving your old keys behind is very, very important. If you're moving from one home to another home, always encourage that you write the new buyer just a little note and congratulate them. You may want to leave instructions on, how the garage door opens, or this key doesn't work quite well over here, or, here's the instructions to the fridge. Those are all great to leave behind. Just redirecting any mail or newspaper that you have there. This is a really, really great advice right here is, packing the first box that you're going to open, that's going to contain all the remotes and the nails and the screws and the tools that you're going to use to open everything else. So, that first box, and marking that first box that says, here's where my phone charger is, and here's where, the box cutter is really, really good advice. And just making sure that, anything that is related to your address in terms of finances is changed as well. Day before you move, we just always encourage you to charge your cell phones. It's a big day. Oftentimes you don't close in the morning, you close more towards the afternoon, and you're kind of just sitting around for a bit. So make sure your phones are charged. Doing the final check of your apartment or your old home or wherever it is, to make sure that you have everything with you. Everything is organized. Your suitcase is organized. That first suitcase, make sure that your pets are taken care of, or if you have small kids, that they have their favorite teddy bear or their favorite book. And then here's a really, really good one. It's just having those snacks set aside. And this can all just be in that one box, that open first box, right? So your snacks, your drinks, whatever that is, just organized there. Once again, we have the charges here. Just make sure you go through the home one more time, the home that you're leaving, make sure that you have everything. We have that all there. You know what? Here's my commitment to you. My service really is for people who want to make informed decisions, and that's why I'm making this long video about this. I see we're up to like almost 45 minutes here. It's crazy. Making informed decisions. I focus on people who want to be coached and educated. And my promise to you is that if you engage with my services, that you will make really good decisions when it comes to real estate. I am here to support you. I am here to make sure that you find your dream home. I offer up my network to everybody. I can be the only person that you ever talk to again if you want to, although that would probably be terrible, but I'm here to help guide you, offer up my network to you, whether that's, mortgage brokers, lawyers, inspectors, insurers, whatever that may be, and just really, really help you. One thing that I always say, or I think is really, really important to me, is just having that connection with the client. And there's a time for things to be serious, and there's time for things to be fun. So encouraged to bring joy into the transaction, and just have a lot of fun there. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope that you got a lot out of it. Like I said, it's just really important to me that you are very well informed as a buyer. Looking forward to working with you, and just wishing you all the best on your journey of buying home. Take care. I'm Rob DePiro, Exit Realty Specialist. Thank you so much. Bye now.